So it seems that as I bumped up the complexity here to the whole 2D physical simulation with all those particles of water going around, that actually both phones performed very, very well. And for my third set of tests, we're now using the C programs that I wrote both on iOS and on Android. And there are three different tests. The first one produces some SHA1 hashes for a block of data, does that lots and lots of times and then sees how long it takes. The second one tries to calculate the first million prime numbers using trial byte division. And the third one is basically just a complicated maths function that does multiplies and divides, does floating point operations to see which function, how long it takes to run that function. So let's have a look at the results. Now in this particular case, lower is better, and the Snapdragon 821 managed to complete my test in 0.654 seconds compared to 0.864 seconds for the iPhone 7. We see the same thing again with the prime numbers, half the speed, half the time taken on the Snapdragon, twice as long taken on the iPhone 7, and again for the maths function, again the same thing, 0.15 seconds compared to 0.303 seconds. Now, this is a bit of a mystery because up until now, all the benchmarks we've seen have told us that the Apple A10 is significantly faster than the Snapdragon 821 in the Google Pixel. And yet when I run the C test, we find that actually it is the Snapdragon 821 which is twice as fast as the Apple A10. Now, I don't know why that is. I just know that I compiled these two C programs on the respective development tools that you have for each platform. Now, there could be some problems. For example, maybe the optimization inside of the iOS app is less than the optimization on Android. That's a possibility. Maybe the tests were too short. For example, maybe the test ran on the lower cores in the iPhone and the schedule didn't have a chance to switch them over to the high power cores because they only last, as you've seen, half a second or something like that. So maybe the scheduler didn't get around to moving them over to the high power cores, or maybe there's some other kind of optimization that goes on in the software level that tells the hardware to do things differently, and that didn't kick in when I was running my tests. So I don't know why, but according to these tests of mine, the Snapdragon 821 is significantly faster than the A10. Now, without further research, I really can't say any more than that. So it's all very well having the performance, but what about the power? How is the power usage of these two processors? Well, as I said, I'm using the Pixel and I'm using the iPhone. Now they've basically got different battery sizes in them. There's different screen sizes. In fact, the Pixel has twice the resolution in terms of pixels than the iPhone 7, so there's more power being used on the display. So this is quite difficult to actually do. So what I did, and this is really the best I can do right now, is I turned both phones on, turned them down to their minimum brightness level, and left them for an hour sitting on the home screen of the respective operating systems, and just saw how much battery was used. And then when I ran the tests, I actually took away, subtracted that power usage from when it was idle, hoping that that will take away what the screen used, so we can get maybe a closer look at what the system on chip is using. So then what I did is I ran two tests. One is I used the 3D game Epic Citadel to test the 3D capabilities of these two processors, and then on the second test I played a video to see what the usage was like. So according to my calculations, for doing the 3D gaming, the Pixel used 415 milliamp hours worth of battery, whereas the iPhone 7 used 319 milliamp hours of battery. So it might seem at first glance that the iPhone 7 is more efficient than the Google Pixel. However, we have to remember the Google Pixel is pushing around twice as many pixels per frame when it's running Epic Citadel. And it's actually doing that without using twice as much power. So although the Pixel is using more power, it's actually doing more work. And for the second test running the video, we find actually both devices use basically the same amount of power. So even though the Pixel is powering a higher resolution display, the video processors in both phones work very, very well. And so now this year, there's going to be millions of phones that will use the Snapdragon 821 and the Apple A10 Fusion. I won't declare which is best because clearly, in terms of performance, the A10 seems to have the lead, but there are other factors involved like cost, for example, like API support, like modem support, like fast charging, that you find inside of the Snapdragon 821. What's the GPU like in the 821 compared to the GPU like in the A10? I'll let the numbers speak for themselves. You decide which one you prefer. Now, I really will look forward to reading your comments, but can I just again ask for a level of maturity? We're talking about chips in a mobile phone. We're not talking about anything else. The world has got enough problems that it is without people getting angry with each other about which mobile phone.
I was going to make a video about it, but the things I said on Twitter are probably cheap if they aren't said from me directly in a video, as the videos are the height of my expression and my personal interaction with you guys. So I have a lot to be regretful for. I made a couple videos a little while back regarding an ex, and I have this issue where I will try and demonize people. When I say demonize, I mean focus on the worst parts of them. When I feel like I've been let down by them, you've seen me do this to ex-friends, you've seen me do this to ex-girlfriends. This is so incredibly destructive and immature and pathetic of me to do. I don't know how I've been able to do it for so long, because it's incredibly shameful. And I've had this thing where for a long time I've thought that the most important thing was who's right and who's wrong, who has the facts on their side and who doesn't. And when things end, that's all I care about. That's all I cared about. It's just that one thing. And the problem is that we're human beings, and I'm treating us like we're robots. Robots communicate in binary, so it's either yes or no, right and wrong. I've had this problem my entire life, as long as I can remember, where I'd have girlfriends I used to date tell me, you know, the world isn't black and white, and I would just keep saying the same stuff I've always been saying. I've been very self-righteous. I've been very egotistical, despite claiming that I have no ego. I've been a massive dick. And while I continue to grab onto the concept of honesty as much as I can, that's not an excuse for the things I've done. I've made a few bullet points regarding things I want to talk about in this video. The first is secrets that I should not have shared, because they were not mine to share. So someone had this knowledge that they encountered people who were horrible, and then they said to me privately and then later publicly that I am the worst person they've ever met. And I was so offended by this that I went ahead and shared with everybody who exactly they had met before and who exactly they were saying I was worse than. Thing is, the people that they had met before had influenced them on a horrific level personally, and that individual didn't want people to know about what they had gone through. Now I have this position where I've shared all my secrets with the public, so I don't understand people who don't share their secrets with the public, because I'm not afraid of who I am. Like, I shared the fact that my father's an accused child molester. I shared the fact that I beat up my father. I was thrown in juvenile hall. I shared the fact that I was physically abused as a child in violent ways. I shared the fact that I even kissed my cousin, and that's embarrassing as fuck. I kissed my cousin at a slumber party. They were sleeping. I thought they were sleeping. But the point is, I did these things, and I've always been honest about them. And so I look at other people and I think, why do you have secrets? And I took someone's right to their secret away from them. They trusted me not to share it with everyone. They didn't have to say, don't share this with everyone. It was pretty obvious that I probably wasn't supposed to share it. And I did anyway. And that hurt them on a horrible level. And this is coming from, you know, the person who said, I said, you betrayed us, and they said, LOL. And I said, you lied to us, and they said, be mad. And that seemed like such an act. They didn't apologize. And yet that same incident kept playing in my mind again and again. So I used that to justify my own cruelty, my own lack in composure and withholding information that could hurt them. I just let it all go because I felt insulted, I felt attacked, and I could have approached that in a totally different way.
Enemy forward.
And saying I'm sorry doesn't make up for it. It's way too late for I'm sorry. I can't even take down the videos because people just re-upload them. So there's nothing I can do at this point except for just feel like I'm a total piece of shit for what I said. And you know, nobody's perfect in this situation, but I don't want to act like that diffuses how fucked up I am. If anybody out of the three of us is even remotely decent as a human being, it's Lainey. Because she didn't take part in this trying to make the other person look bad. She didn't reveal a bunch of personal information. Both myself and the other person released stuff that probably weren't the best things to be shared with the public, but we did it anyway. And, you know, not everybody was exactly unbiased in their sharing of that information because the information was shared in a way that would hurt the other person rather than a way that was without an agenda. Sorry, I have the flu, as you guys know, so trying to maintain myself. Anyway, so I guess that's actually it. I'm supposed to talk about the secrets that I shared that were not mine. I'm supposed to talk about how we're so fucking wrong, both of us. About how Lainey is the only decent person in the situation. And how focused I am on proving that other people are wrong because I'm self-righteous. So, what am I going to do about this? How am I supposed to actually have any of the words I'm saying mean something? Well, as you know, I'm a well-known person for my drama. It's not what I'm most well-known for as far as video views go, but if you talk to people, a lot of people will say, oh, it's that dramatic guy, I hate him. It's not even an exaggeration. I hear that a lot. What I'm going to do is never, ever again discuss my friendships, my other relationships in a negative way to the greatest extent I can manage. Ever again. Never. And this is a big, bold thing to say, especially considering a lot of you feel I'm successful only because of drama. But if I don't keep this up, I'm letting you guys down and I'm breaking a promise to all of you. So, that's it. I quit drama for the most part. No more friendships, no more relationships. If I have an issue, it's going to be handled privately. I want to thank the people who disliked my video. And I know that sounds really weird, but the people who disliked that first video I uploaded, your ex-girlfriend video, I appreciate the people who stood by me in the sense that you guys were loyal, but we were wrong. I mean, we had the facts, but we didn't have the decency. We had no decency at all. It was just brutal and cold, and the things I've said about her, it's like I took the truth and I made it as ugly as fucking possible. I just covered it in absolute shit and then sent it out, and you know, you can make most anyone look bad and still be honest. Like, I could tell you I'm a filthy, disgusting creature because I push out horribly wretched, vile waste from my body, but all I'm talking about is going to the bathroom. You know, it's all about how you word things. I can tell you I'm a pervert who looks at total strangers unclothed, and I gawk at them making love to each other and all that stuff, but really all I'm talking about is looking at porn. We can make almost anything sound way worse than it actually is. And that's just not as honest as it could be. So I think I've lost my right to talk about relationships in a dramatic manner. I think I've lost my right to talk about friendships, etc. And if you see me talking about them in the future, if you see me starting like another drama war with any friend or girlfriend, whatever, just let me know I'm a fraud. Let me know that I made a promise and I broke it, because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm promising you guys that I won't break this. If I do break this, I want you guys to pledge to me that you'll unsubscribe from me. And that you'll forget I exist, because I don't deserve your subscription if I can't even keep this one promise. Anyway, to the people I've hurt, I'm sorry. I was hurt by some people that I've hurt. That doesn't mean I can punch back. That doesn't mean I can justify being cruel. Cruelty matched with cruelty, everybody suffers. I need to be the bigger person. And I've failed so many times to be that person. I'm very sorry. I hope you don't forgive me.
You will do better.
Because I definitely deserve forgiveness. Also, please don't like this video. Okay? Don't act like this is all. Oh, Nision's better now. Let's like this video. He was honest with us. He showed real emotion. Don't. I deserve nothing but dislikes. Thank you for watching. Bye. Am I, Onision, a Scorpio? Onision is a Scorpio makes sense. Onision is a Scorpio, not surprised. This person says, arguing with a Scorpio, they're basically the effing devil, and will say the meanest things even if it has nothing to do with the argument. Someone pointed out that I'm a Scorpio. Onision is like the textbook Scorpio. Onision is a Scorpio, woo, everything makes sense now. Onision is manipulated
by hostile forces.
Hey guys, welcome back to Harbour Unboxed. Today I have a new episode of unboxing boxes. I'm not actually sure what episode number we're up to at this point, but I'll work that out afterwards. But yeah, I haven't done one of these for a few weeks now, which we were doing it every week, and yeah, it took a bit of a break, you know, New Year's and all that sort of stuff. But, and I did go away for a short holiday, but anyway, now I've got back to it, and there's quite a few boxes. This is about half the boxes I have to get through at the moment, but some of these products I have to use this week, so I thought it's probably a good time to unbox them. So anyway, let's get to it. I'll probably we'll move this big box out of the way and probably save that for last. And I think this one here looks like a good starting point. Just move this little one. Alright. It's exciting getting back into the unboxing boxes, and I don't know what happened to my multi-tool with the knife on it. It's somewhere in the office, but anyway, I couldn't find it, so I've just got a steak knife. Alright, here we go. Okay. Very cool. What we have here, awesome. I've been dying to get my hands on these boards, particularly this one, which I'll get to in a moment why. Alright, I suppose I should probably take this board out of the box while we talk about it. But it is the ASRock Fatality Z27T Performance, Professional Gaming. So that's the Fatality Z270 Professional Gaming i7, so it's a bit of a mouthful. So yeah, they've just got, well, Z270 Gaming i7. You can probably drop the Fatality part. We've got a screw for the M.2 slot, some SATA cables, high bandwidth SLI bridge, more M2 screws, pair of aerials, so you must have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi on this board, cool I/O shield, more SATA cables, standard single link SLI bridge, and a postcard. So if you plan on going on a trip with your motherboard to celebrate buying it, you can send a card back home. Anyway, this is all we really care about. So it looks very similar to the Z270 Gaming K6 board that we've already looked at, or I'm using for testing anyway. Very similar, but some differences are you get a pair of M2 slots here stacked, one after the other, along with a third here. So that's 3 Ultra M.2 ports. That's pretty insane. You could get, I suppose, 3 Samsung 960 Pro 1TB drives, or yeah, does that come in 2TB? Anyway, that would be awesome. Overkill, really, but yeah, why not? And what is really cool about this board, which I can't test right now, but I am really keen to get to, is the 5 gigabit LAN connection, which uses your standard RJ45 Cat6 cables. So, you know, that's 5 times faster than the gigabit connection, of which there are 2 as well on this board. So you get a pair of 2 gigabit LAN connections, which do use Intel LAN controllers or LAN chips, and then the 5 gigabit chip, which I'm not actually sure what drives that. I don't know a whole lot about it yet, apart from the fact that this board has it, and I can't test it, but I'm happy to have it. And yeah, you get there's a 4th M.2 slot, which is occupied by a Wi-Fi card. So that's an 802.11ac Wi-Fi card with Bluetooth support. So that's pretty cool right out of the box. So the networking on this board is pretty insane. You also get USB 3.1 Type-C and Type-A. What else have we got? Your standard output ports. You get the Sound Blaster Cinema 3 audio, which is a very high-end audio solution using the new Realtek ALC. I think it's the 1220 codec. I'd have to check that. Don't quote me, but I think that's it. And you get the EM shielding and added like the steel, what do we call them? The steel shields around the PCI Express slots, which stops them from flexing and also provides a bit of EM shielding, or EMI shielding. So that's pretty cool. There's a USB 3 header on the board, plenty of SATA ports, a pair of SATA Express ports, but you're never going to use those. And yeah, this has all the, I think it's the Aura lighting they call it, or is that Gigabyte? I might be getting my wires crossed there. But anyway, that's a cool motherboard, and I don't know the price in US or Aussie markets. It's yet to be released, this board. So yeah, given the 5 gigabit Ethernet on it, I'm very keen to see what they price this board at. Yeah, so anyway, that's cool. And then of course we have the Z270 Tai-Chi model, and I have the X99 Tai-Chi board that we used in that Core P3 build, and yeah, still in use today obviously, and that's an awesome board, really like it. This one looks very similar. You've got the sort of the gearing work design on the PCB, if you can see that. And yeah, it's the 270 version. So it's actually, it's sort of positioned as a high-end but budget-friendly board. And the pricing's pretty good. It's $240 US, which, given the feature set, I think is pretty reasonable. Or that works out to be about 330 Aussie. And compared to this board, you get many of the same features as the gaming i7 version, but that 5 gigabit LAN unfortunately has been dropped, and the creative audio, or the Cinema 3 audio, has been changed for Purity Sound 4. So not a huge downgrade, and yeah, you still get those 3 M.2 ports. You get the Aura RGB lighting. You get a 12-phase power design. You get those steel slots for the PCIe x16, USB 3.1, and all that good stuff, the Wi-Fi and all that sort of stuff, the M.2 Intel Wi-Fi adapter. So yeah, very cool board, and I'll probably end up reviewing that at some point or featuring in a build, who knows. I'll get onto this sort of ragged looking box. Looks like it's had a bit of a leak. Ah yes, this is the final piece to the Tower 900 puzzle. Hopefully you guys saw my video or explaining all the bits and bobs that are going to go into the Tower 900 build, which if you can see is just here. And yeah, this is the VGA block for the GTX 1070 that's going to go into that build. So the Pacific V GTX 10 series Founders Edition block, and I'll be whacking that on a Founders Edition GeForce graphics card. So yeah, that's pretty cool. We've seen this on the channel before. We used the same block for the Core P3 build, which used a GTX 1080. It's a very, very impressive looking block.